All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another edition of 40 Years, 40 Moments in Coker Men's Soccer. I have former head coach Chris Dax, coached the Cobras from 1996 to 2002. Chris, how are you this afternoon?
I'm good, Jake. How are you? Hello, Coker
I'm
family.
I'm doing well. I'm doing well. I'm sure the alums are happy to see your face
Maybe
after
not all of
after
them,
a
but we'll
while.
see. Maybe not all of them, Jake.
So we'll we'll kind of get right into it. I guess first and foremost, what brought you to Coker?
Sure. Great question. So, Coker came to me, and that was kind of an interesting start to my career with the university there. And uh, I was a young guy working at Washington College. Had spent a couple seasons with them, a Division III program in Maryland on the Eastern Shore, and had an opportunity to work with a gentleman by the name of Mark Larson. Mark is an athletic trainer there, and Mark's, days started back on the western part of North Carolina and had a great connection with Tim Griggs. And so Mark kind of suggested to Tim, he knew that there was an opportunity at the university, at Coker, kind of looking for someone to step in for the men's program. And I came down, had an opportunity, and Tim took a risk on me. And I appreciate where he, both and President Daniels, took that chance. And I was a 25-year-old young man taking on a new program, and then was there, like you said, for that tenure. And there's a lot that we all learned together, and I think there was a great deal of experiences, and I'm proud of that opportunity I had, and really pleased with what I was able to do with Coker.
So, in those years you spent here in Hartsville, and it's maybe difficult for you to do. Can you pinpoint your favorite memory from those years?
Oh man, that's a great question. There are so many, but I would say like it's really a combination of memories, and the biggest impact that I've always had in my life has been the people I've had a chance to come in touch with. So all the young men and women that are at Coker, they have a unique personality, and that they are all people that have a passion for others, and they work with one another. I mean, it's from the kind of like the round table approach the school has had for so many years. It's the opportunity for dialogue, changing the future of others around them. And I would say that that's kind of been the favorite memory, is how that impacted my life and my chance for growth is, interacting with the faculty and staff there, the students, seeing so many people grow and change over the time that we had them, from when they came in as freshmen to when they graduated. And then for some that we've stayed connected with for the number of years after that. I mean, they are certainly a unique group. And I'd say that people that come through that are part of the Coker College, Coker University experience are a unique cohort that really make a difference for many people.
Absolutely, I'd certainly agree. I mean, particularly men. I can speak particularly to men's soccer. The alums that I've had conversations with, they all speak to those same experiences you just touched on. So it's certainly a men's soccer, certainly a brotherhood within itself. Um, if you could pick one, is there just one game from all those years that sticks out in your mind, whether it be a win, a loss, a draw?
Yeah, well, the guys that played for me know that we had a few of those on the opposite side. We didn't have as many wins as we would have liked, and so that's a unique scenario. But I will say this, probably the most memorable moment was the first win. So we had a unique scenario in '96. So again, coming as a young head coach, kind of knew what we were getting into, and had a mix of both a large group of incoming first-time players with us, and then a really strong senior class. So it was kind of a difficult situation because they were going through transition as well. They had gone through two different coaches changes in the time that they had been there. When Coach Griggs stepped down, they had a new coach come in, and then myself. So it was tough. However, we had a unique scenario in that first year, for whatever reason, we beat every team that started with the letter L. So, and more importantly to that, the first win we had, there was a lunar eclipse happening on that day. So I guess you could say that first victory for Coker and for me in my career, all the stars were aligned. And so I don't remember the score itself, but those are the pieces that kind of stick out to me about the unique scenario of that first year with the crew.
That's an interesting little factoid for sure.
I think the game was against Lenore Ryan, but I could be wrong. So you'll have to go back and fact check me on that one.
Yeah,
So
yeah, for sure, for sure. So you factor in, especially sounds like that first year you had some unique ones for sure. Is there any one goal scored that sticks out in your mind?
Yeah, well, we had an interesting scenario. It was probably later on in the years. It was definitely where we were in a situation where we had Sean Lamar and Jason Remine both vying for, leading the conference in goal scoring. I think the season, Sean finished somewhere around 15 goals, and Jason had as upward up to 9. That was sometime, I think, either in 2000 or 2001, maybe. So again, it's a little fuzzy, but I'd say that, the fun thing about that experience was watching, every game where the team was around, rallying around each of their experiences. And it wasn't so much about the individual, but we had one in particular where Sean we were at Coker. He had a scenario where he defeated, he kind of took the ball at midfield, beat 3 players, and then hit it in the upper 90. Again, don't recall who the opponent was, but it was just watching the majesty of his finesse, the speed with the ball at his feet, how he can manage his first touch, and the strength and power behind the shot. So very definitely something unique to see, and was really impressive to be a part of. And I mentioned him, but there were so many other kids guys, I should say, that had those experiences that were really kind of impactful for each of them. We used to have this ongoing joke that used to say, hey, let's put a biscuit in the basket. And so after guys scored goals, I went to the local Hardee's, picked up biscuits, and handed them out at practice the next day. So I know that was sometimes, an interesting scenario to go through, and it was kind of fun to hand those out the following day. And, the guys appreciated that kind of kookiness a little bit.
Yeah, definitely sounds like you guys had fun with it.
Just had to.
Absolutely. So, I've gotten to know you a little bit, and I have to wonder if you could give one last pregame speech at Coker, what would it sound like?
Oh man, that's a good question. So, I think that depending on the opponent, so let's talk about that. Okay, so I'll give you one breakdown of this, and I'll tell a story, and then I'll give you the final speech. So we had a situation where I had made the decision, and it's my decision, to play a preseason game against the University of South Carolina at the Graveyard. I was good friends with Coach Burson. Coach Griggs was friends with Coach Burson. So we're like, guys, we're going to go over and play. Well, that was in the time of Clint Mathis, Josh Wolf, some guys that were pretty prominent with the U.S. national team after their careers, and they were in the top 10 in the country. So we were certainly outmatched. It was not a good result for sure. Got some press in terms of like our guys were on the front page of the state news, giving up some goals. But the weird thing about the comment was, guys, no matter what you deal with, this is going to help change you forever, because you're going to be in a business room at some point. You're going to be in a meeting space dealing with a difficult conversation. But this is one you can live on. This is one you can grow on. And by the way, number 3 in the country, UCLA, will be in the same locker room next week. So that was a real story of what we did and went through one time, because we're trying to, make lemonade out of lemons, and realizing that I was watching a bunch of young men sitting there across from me in the locker room, kind of going like, "Oh my goodness, coach, you're sending us to the Lions." And so I would say, like, if I gave one last speech, it'd be like, take a look at the gentlemen in the locker room around you. There's one thing we all have in common. We're all carrying the pride of Coker on our chest. It's part of the preparation we've gone through together and how we feel on the field. You can't control the officials. You can't control the field conditions. You can't really control your opponents. But what you can control is yourselves and each other. Your output is going to be the most important thing today. And if you don't feel that you have that energy or focus in yourself, then you need to be honest with yourself and be prepared to challenge yourself to kind of step up a little bit. It's going to be about that output. We've been prepared. Everyone's taken the time in training. You put together the right pieces. You were prepared for all the restarts. You know what we're trying to accomplish, but now it comes down to the last piece. What do you control, and how do you go about controlling it? If you don't step on the field and put forth your best effort, we're not going to get there together. And that's the only way it's going to happen, is your individual effort combined with your partners around you as one team together. So let's do it. Coker on 3. So that's how we would go.
I like it. I'm ready to run through a brick wall after that one.
Well, hopefully not a brick wall, but yeah, I appreciate that.
Well, Chris, I really appreciate you taking the time today, and appreciate you being a part of this for us.
Yeah, Jake, I appreciate the outreach, and I appreciate also, like I said, the family that is Coker, all the guys that still stay in touch with me today, those that will reach out that I don't know. You are a part of a very important lineage and something you should be proud of. In the 40 years that, you know, both the staffs that have all been a part of what the future is for the program, each of you that have worn the uniform, like I talked about, have made a difference for what's gone on. So the program's only as strong as its alumni. So be involved, be engaged, contribute, and help promote the program. So thanks, Jake.
Thanks, Chris. Appreciate it.